Merry meet and welcome to Soulful Sunday here at Ariel's Corner. This is Ariel Gatoga and we are streaming live on YouTube. Moderating today are the lovely Heather and the lovely Vanessa. Thank you so much, moderators, and thank you so much to everybody for joining us today. We are going to have a premiere at 11 a.m. in just over 40 minutes, and that's on right on this channel here on YouTube. If you just hang out to the end of the exit music, it'll dump you right into a link where you can go right to the premiere if you want to join us, or you can just go onto our regular page and find it, I'm sure, too. Thank you again for being here. Our website is located at arielscorner.com, arielscorner.com. That's where we have everything that we offer, and all of what we offer is free of charge. So check it out, peruse, enjoy yourselves. You'll notice that on that website we have at the bottom of every page links to all of our social media, and two of those social media links are of special interest to those of you who want to be part of our community. One is our private Facebook group, if you're not already a member, and the other is our Discord server, if you're not already a member. And they're both wonderful. The Facebook group is more of a generalized place to just chat or, share things. The Discord server is much more specific. There's separate channels for each and everything. So we've got a separate channel for each of the courses, and then we've got all kinds of other channels that are more generalized as well, that aren't necessarily oriented toward Ariel's Corner. It's a wonderful, wonderful place, and I hope that you check it out. If you'd like to donate to this channel, you can do that by going to paypal.me/Ariel Gatoga, paypal.me/Ariel Gatoga, or you could use a super stacker. There's no super stackers here. Super sticker or super chat right in the chat thread live. Or if you're watching on a restream, you could use a super thanks. We do appreciate your support. Another way to support us is by heading on over to our shop at arielscornershop.com, arielscornershop.com. And you can check out our latest merchandise over there as well. We appreciate your support, and we really appreciate you being here today. We are off on Mondays and Tuesdays, so we will be back on Wednesday for Witchy Wednesday for some sort of spell or ritual of some sort. So I hope that you join us then as well. Somebody complained on one of the lecture videos that I started out with hypnosis. instead of starting right out with the lecture. This isn't hypnosis. We're just doing a little meditation to help ground and center and put us all on the same page. So there are no subconscious post-hypnotic suggestions that are being given to you. So there's nothing to worry about. But I do like to start all of our lectures out with a meditation. So if you don't want to join, you can just plug your ears. If you are in a safe space, that's not the way to start. If you are in a place where it is safe and appropriate for you, please close your eyes and begin to take some nice, slow, relaxing breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. With every inhale, feel more light and peace entering the body and the mind. With every exhale, let go of all tension from your body, along with anything in your mind you do not want. Inhaling peace and exhaling as you let go. We picture ourselves on top of a beautiful mountain in the center of a circular grove of trees. In the center of our grove, a bonfire blazes forth, lighting us and the grove with a sacred golden light. This is the light of perfect love and perfect trust, and it easily and efficiently burns away everything unlike itself, leaving us safe and serene. Into this sacred space, we call upon and invoke the presence of our Creator. We invoke the presence of our Creator. To many of us, our Creator reveals themselves to be a mother and father, a goddess and God. Into this sacred space, we also invite the presence of our teachers, our guides, our angels. We ask that we be guided as we walk upon the way. And we ask that they help us to become happier, more peaceful, more magical, more powerful, and more loving people. Blessed be. I would like to talk about the topic of desire today. If you look up the definition of desire, it is a craving or yearning, an emotion directed toward attainment or possession of an object, sensual appetite, physical desire, lust. But the root of it is from the Old French désir, and that is from désirer, which means that which is longed for. But if you go even older, it means from the stars, or awaiting what the stars will bring. It comes from the root word sidus, which is heavenly body, star, or constellation. So, if we look at it from a magical point of view, our true desires, our heart's desires, are that which is from the stars. And who are we but stars? So that is where we can find the true essence of our nature, is in our heart's desires. Now, it's important to differentiate in our own minds between an ego lust and a desire. And even though the common definition of the word desire includes lust, we treat it separately because to us, our heart's desire is sacred. And it's not that lust is bad. It's not that it's evil or sinful. It's just that sometimes the ego will very frequently, the ego will use a lust in order to distract from our true desires, and sometimes even to sabotage our true desires. So it's worth questioning all of what we think our desires are, so that we can go for the ones which are bringing us closer and closer to our true selves, and we can avoid the ones and choose against the ones which are there to distract us or to destroy us. So in that regard, having a differentiation between lust and desire is more than just semantics for us. It helps us to sort through what's happening. Because in magic, it's impossible to have any results without a strong desire. You will not have results unless you have a strong desire. If you can't desire something, it can't manifest for you. because that is the catalyst. That's the secret sauce, desire. So you have to really want something in order to put the power into a spell. And then once it's over, you have to let it go and know that it's coming. It's not that you're squelching the desire, but you're letting your desire know it's happening. It's on its way. You've done your job. Yay. So desire is more than just a longing or a wish. It's the potential for any kind of abundance within us, whatever abundance you're looking for, in whatever area of your life your spell happens to be about. That desire is your best friend. And it comes straight from your source. You could say that that's the way the gods are knocking on the door to you. So the connection between abundance and desire is well, actually, it's inseparable. Your desire for abundance on any level is straight from source. And like I said, it's the catalyst for all magic. And if you can't find a strong desire in your heart for something, don't do the magic for it. Wait until you do have a strong desire in your heart, or do magic on something which you already possess that strong desire. You can't expect a spell to work for you if you don't have a strong desire. If you believe that you should have something or that you really need something and you're going to do a spell on it, it's not going to work for you very well. If it's just, well, I better do this. I better do a spell because I should have this. Should is not a strong enough emotion. It really needs to be, I want this so much. I really, really want this. That, when it comes straight from your heart of hearts, that is the universe calling out to you. Get busy, get moving. This is on its way. It's the signaling of the universe to move from potential to realization. If you consider the infinite as the source of all creation and abundance, it's pre-gender. It doesn't have a form. You can't anthropomorphize it. You can't make an idol out of it. You can't make a statue out of it. It's beyond all of that. If you realize that force that creates all the galaxies, all the stars, all the everything, also creates you in the moment. In the moment. It didn't create you once and then forget about you. It's the reason why your heart is beating now. It pours desire into your heart in order for you to be able to achieve or receive those things. If that's your desire inside your heart is the way that you can find closeness with this force. If you are following the desires of your heart, not only do you get to have what you want out of life, but you also get closer to the infinite in your mind, because that's where you and the infinite connect, is in that desire. There's always that desire to expand, always that desire to become more of yourself in whatever form is appropriate in that time. And there's no wrong desires in that regard either, because if it's coming from the source, if it's coming from your heart, it's pure, it's perfect. Now, some people, when they say desire, like I said earlier, they mean lust. And again, we're not saying it's wrong to have lusts, but the lusts as we're describing them and defining them today are not the same thing as the desire that's coming from your heart. For instance, say you desired a ring. It's like, oh, I really want that ring. I really love this golden ring. I really love the diamond on it. I just love it. I want that so much. And that ring happened to belong to somebody. Your desire for the ring isn't bad. It's not necessarily a lust. That could be the universe calling for you to have something like that for yourself. But if you believe that you desire her ring, that's a lust. That's not coming from the infinite. The infinite doesn't need you to get so-and-so's ring or so-and-so's wife or so-and-so's house or any of those things. The infinite has all of the assets and resources necessary for you to have what you want. So people that say, well, if desire is so great, then, is it okay for me to desire somebody else's things? It's okay for you to do that. It's not that it's bad. It's not that you're going to be punished, but it's not coming from the infinite. You're not going to have the backing of the universe behind that. But that doesn't mean that the desire itself didn't come from the infinite. It's just that you misunderstood it and you said, no, I want her thing. I want his thing. Right? So you don't need to be jealous or covetous of other people's experiences in order for you to want one of your own. So this or something even better is the way that we deal with that. So if you want that ring, I want a ring just like that or even better. But you don't want to say I want her ring, because that doesn't come from the infinite. You can think of desire as a form of communication. It's a device of communication between you and the infinite. And if you're communicating to the infinite, yes, I want this, then the infinite's communicating to you, yes, I want this for you, then you know you're on the right beam. But if you're lusting after something that's not coming straight from your heart, and you say to the infinite, this is what I really want, and the infinite says to you, I think you want this. You want to listen to that. You want to listen to that pull to change your desires, to change the form of your desires, to fine-tune it so that you're on the right beam. Because when you're on the beam of desire with you and the infinite together as one co-creator, nothing can stop you. But if you're trying to go after what you're calling a desire all on your own, you might be able to get it, but it probably won't make you happy, and it may not last. But if you're working in connection with and in union with the infinite, and it's desiring for you, and you're desiring for it too, and you're having that communication, that back and forth, what that does is it propels that desire to manifest. There's a principle of supply and demand. There's a supply for every need. It already exists in the spiritual realm. We talk about this when we talk about Shekinah and infinite substance. There is an infinite amount of substance. There is no shortage of substance of Shekinah. She doesn't have a little bit of herself. She's unlimited. So there's unlimited substance. There's unlimited life in the universe, and there's unlimited substance. So whatever you want, you can have it. If there's a demand for it, the supply is already there. So if you and the infinite are working together, it's much faster for you to get that supply to come together in order to satisfy your demand, because it's the natural way. It's the natural way that things work. But without that desire, there's no demand. And so you can't expect the supply to come and rush into it. And if it's a lust that you have that's different and separate from the desire that the universe has for you, you can still impress the substance with your lust, and you still may be able to get a manifestation of it. But it's not going to have the same kind of power to make you happy, and it's definitely not going to have the lasting power that it will have if you're working with the infinite. Your desire is the catalyst that activates the supply into manifestation. That's how powerful it is. So if you have a desire for something that's what we call a righteous desire of your heart, it's proof, it's evidence to you that it's on its way. It's your desire. Your desire is the thing itself in incipience. I guess that's the word that we could use for that. In potential. And if you lean into that desire, that potential must realize itself. Now, there are such things as unrealized desires in the world. And that's why it's so important to train your mind and to train yourself, magically speaking, so that you can lean into the desires in a way that ensures their manifestation rather than just being on a treadmill of desire and on a treadmill of unfulfilled desires. So if you have that which is pyramid, faith, imagination, will, and secrecy, it's there to provide the structure of manifestation for desire. But if you don't have desire, working that pyramid by itself isn't going to do much for you because there's no catalyst. There's no demand. So supply can't come rushing in no matter how well you create your spell or ritual. You can have the best ritual in the world. You can have all the faith in the world, all the imagination. You can will it to be there. You can be quiet about it. You can do all the right things. But if you don't have that desire, that burning desire, that demand, then you have no catalyst. It's like having your house wired for electricity and having all of the most beautiful light switches in the world and never flipping them on. It's ready for you, it's in potential, but if you don't flip the switch on, it won't work. You won't get the light. And so your desire is the energy behind all of your spells. In the Bible, it talks about promises a lot. There's a lot of promises in the Bible. And people don't realize what that means. If you look at the Bible as a magical textbook, it reads so differently. It reads very, very differently than if you look at it as a religious text. If you look at it as a textbook on magic, whether it's the Old Testament or the New Testament, it doesn't matter. What you'll understand is those promises are simply laws. They're just laws, natural laws. So when you hear about a promise in the Bible, it's just a law that's being taught about, a metaphysical law. And desires are our own version of promises. So in the Bible, it promises something, and it's really just a way of telling you how things work. The desire is that same thing in miniature for you. Anytime you have a true desire, it's a promise of its fulfillment. And the desire itself will work itself out if you let it, if you don't stop it. It is a law unto itself. Your desire is a law unto itself that will always find manifestation if you let it. If you don't stop it, if there's nothing that is countering it. Now, if you are working in connection with the infinite, if you are one with the infinite, there literally is nothing that can stop it. There's literally nothing that can stop it. You don't need to plead some deity or persuade some deity that they need to help you or they need to give you this. You don't need to entice an entity. You don't need to do any of that stuff to get your desires met. Desire in and of itself is enough because it is the first stage of manifestation. So, sincere desire, heart's desire, righteous desires of the heart, activate manifestation. Sincere, righteous desires of the heart activate manifestation. And spellcasting is a way of spell casting in any kind of magical operation is a way to contextualize your desire in such a way that you are giving it a framework for manifestation. And you could see all magical operations in that regard as devices of communication between your surface mind and your deep mind. But they're there to serve the desire. If you don't start with a desire, then don't bother with the spell, because the spell is simply there to provide a means to communicate your desire to your deep mind in an efficient way. Now, if you didn't do spell casting, you'd find another way. If you weren't working spells and magic, say you were doing something else, or you were an atheist, or you were, a part of some sort of Christian religion or something that didn't believe in all of this, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. You'd find another way, because the desire itself is the promise, is the law, is the scientific law. It is going to get manifest if you don't do something to put the brakes on it yourself. And so with us, we're kind of fortunate because we have such great systems of manifestation available to us in our magical practices, that those practices, those magical practices such as the witch's pyramid, etc., are there so that we can protect our desires from being sabotaged by those other parts of our minds. We have a framework, so we're very fortunate. So we can use that framework, but we have to understand that that framework is only there to support the manifestation of a desire. But without the desire, the framework isn't powerful. Expressing our desire initiates the alignment with it. And that's when we express it in our spellcasting, perhaps as symbols on an altar, or images in our mind, or words that we're incanting. We do all kinds of wonderful things to bring about the how do I want to say it? We do wonderful things in order to instigate and bring about the change that we desire. And the next step, regardless of what kind of spellcasting procedure you use, is acting as though you have already received it, down to being grateful. So you see, there's a difference between saying, well, because all magic does have its price. Let's just be clear. All magic has its price. There's a price for everything. And whether it's not just magic that has its price, everything has its price. You want to learn how to drive, you've got to practice driving. That's the price. You want to become good at the piano, you have to practice your piano. That's the price. You want a ring, you have to either buy one, or you have to barter, or you have to trade something for it. There's a price. And if you try to circumvent the price, the universe will balance that out at some point or another. So it's better not to circumvent that. So part of the price here in getting your desires met is doing the work that is necessary. And the other part of one of the other prices that we must pay is gratitude. Because if you're not grateful for what you receive, then it's not that you're going to be punished and that it's going to be taken away because you're not a good enough person. It's just that energetically speaking, you're on a different beam. And manifestation always follows energy. And that's the part of the law of compensation right there. And so one way to compensate for what it is that you want is through gratitude. Because the more grateful you are, the more you are focusing that energy on that manifestation principle, on that manifestation principle itself. And if you can be grateful for something that hasn't yet manifest, you're speeding up the process. If you can act as though it's already here and say, thank you, I'm so grateful for this, and find all kinds of ways to feel grateful and be grateful, you're going to get it. But that's very different than saying, I owe the universe such and such a thing in order for me to get what I want. That's not the same. It's instead of thinking about the cost of something as being some begrudging payment that you have to sacrifice, it's better to say there's an exchange of energy that must take place in any kind of thing, no matter what it is. And so rather than it being this transactional thing of like, I'm going to pay for it and then I'm going to get what I want, we think of it in terms of the price that I'm paying for something is gratitude. The price I'm paying for something is giving up not having it. The price I'm paying for something is doing everything that I need to do in order to achieve what I'm achieving. Anytime somebody becomes an overnight success, usually it's because they've been working for 20 years on it and nobody's noticed until now. Very rarely are they an overnight success and they haven't put any effort into something. So they paid for it. That was the price of it. And part of the price of magic is being able to stoke the desire and to be with that desire and to allow that desire to complete itself and to do that in a state of gratitude. Now, when you're grateful for something, you spontaneously and organically want to give. You want to give. Now, how do you give to the infinite that already has everything? Ask. How can I give? How can I give? Where can I give in order for this desire to be fully manifest? Because I know that all receiving, it has to be preceded by giving in this world. Where do I give? And the universe will tell you. The universe will tell you where to give and what to give and how to give. And you're not doing it because it's some price that's being extracted from you. You're doing it because you can't wait to give, because you know that this is getting you even more in touch with the manifestation of your heart's desire. So that's another reason why so many people fail at magic, is because they don't understand the price of magic. So on one hand, they think, okay, all magic has its price. And then they have this sort of like 70s horror film, where they have to like draw blood or something like that. And how would that even make sense? That the universe of all that exists, that adores and loves you, would want you to have some sort of painful sacrifice in order to get what you want. That doesn't even make sense logically. So we know that's off the mark. So when we are looking at the price that we're paying for something, it's obviously going to involve some sort of joy, some sort of giving, and some sort of gratitude. So if we can pay that price in advance, then we have put ourselves on the fast track to the manifestation of our desire. But the bottom line is, with our point today, is the desire itself has to be the catalyst. So that feeling of desire is everything. Leaning into the feeling of desire, especially the desire that centers at the heart chakra or right behind the heart. If you know that you desire it and you can lift that desire up into that area of your being, right behind your heart, you're at one with the creative essence of the entire universe, because that's where that creative essence is centered in your physical being, is right behind your heart. So when you feel that lifting up behind your heart and the desire at the same time, the more you can feel that, the better, especially in the process of your spellcasting, whatever you're using. If you're doing incantations or visualizations, chants, whatever you're doing, there's so many different ways to cast a spell. If you can lean into that feeling right behind the heart of the desire of what you want and really feel the desire, want it and desire it, and you see how it is from the stars. Desire really is from the stars. It really is coming straight from source. And the more you lean into it, the faster those manifestations happen. And like I said, if you can get into paying the so-called price for your magic right away, so much the better and so much the faster when it comes to manifestation. So desire isn't something to look the other way about. Desire isn't something that is, down on the totem pole. Desire is the most important part of your magic. If you don't have desire, don't bother. And where you can feel that desire in your body is going to really show you and help you to understand whether or not you are desiring in connection with the creative power of the universe, or whether you're trying to create some lust all on your own. And again, that's not that that's bad. It's just that it's not going to make you happy. But if you have that desire in connection with the infinite, the manifestations are only going to bring you joy and happiness. And the payment required is also going to be joyful and happy as well. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I really appreciate you. Until next time, blessed be. Okay, let's see if we have any questions before we stop. Okay, how to make this gratitude for what I want genuine? Sometimes when I do it, it feels superficial, or my mind says I'm lying. Well, if you're not genuinely grateful for it, it's probably not what you really want. I mean, I know for me, when somebody gives me something gorgeous, I'm like, oh, thank you, right? I wanted this so bad. The gratitude is organic. If I'm not feeling grateful for what they gave, it's possible that I'm also personally being superficial, because the fact that they gave me something to begin with should be enough to spark gratitude, that they even thought of me. Right? So if you're not feeling grateful, you may want to question whether the desire itself is something that you really wanted. Because if you got it, wouldn't you feel happy? If you got what you wanted? I mean, let's say you're desiring, I don't know, a new home, and then the home closed and you got it, and you got all the financing for everything, and you got all the money to decorate it the way you wanted. Wouldn't you feel happy? Wouldn't that make you grateful? I would. So, if you're not feeling that, it's possible that you either don't believe that it's coming true, or that maybe you're not desiring enough. It's possible, because you don't necessarily want to conjure a false sense of gratitude. That's not what we're going for, although that's probably better than nothing. But I think maybe looking to do spells for things that spontaneously cause you to feel gratitude when you can imagine them coming to you, right? But that's such a good question, because I think we all get caught in that sometimes. And sometimes you are grateful, but maybe you just don't feel like it's enough. Sometimes you are grateful, but then you're letting the ego discount the gratitude and saying, oh, that's not real gratitude. That's not enough. And if that's the case, just say thank you for sharing and move on and do your best. You just do your best. The universe isn't going to say, oh, your gratitude isn't good enough. It'll match it. So if you can amp up that gratitude, it's just energy, and it responds to energy. And it's not that the universe needs your gratitude, because otherwise it feels bad. It's just that energy that you have of gratitude matches the manifestation energy. And so it's a scientific thing. It just locks you into manifesting much, much quicker. Why do I feel so emotional, like crying when grateful? I don't know why you do. But if that's what you're feeling, just go with what you're feeling. Now, if there's some stuff that you need help with, what I do, I'm not telling you to do this, but I just go into a therapy session and work through it, because sometimes I don't have what I need to get through on my own, to get through something. So if I'm feeling an emotional response to something that just seems like it's not quite appropriate, that's usually when I'll, just go to my therapist and say, what's this about? we work through it. I'm not saying that you need to do that. But sometimes it's just that you need to feel those feelings. And if the crying is happening, then maybe something needs to break through, but gratitude is always such a healing force. So I would stick with it. Does crying when grateful mean desperateness? Not necessarily. But if you're feeling desperate, then you need to be honest with that. And the universe can handle you feeling desperate. It's not that the universe is going to judge you and say, well, since you're desperate. It's just that it will also match your energy. So what you want to do is, if you're noticing desperation in your spells, is just notice that and do your best to relax, to relax that. And sometimes it takes time to get better and better and better at magic. I mean, magic is such an internal process, and we're not going for perfection. We're just going for progress. We just want something a little better and a little better and a little better. So if you've got a little desperation, it's not going to kill the spell, but you can move toward having less and less desperation and more gratitude and more resolution, more and more manifestation. It's a process, not an event. It's a process. But those are wonderful questions. Thank you so much for those. And thank you so much to the amazing moderators. Today we had the lovely Vanessa and the lovely Honey Paw. And we also had Dre, and I think we had Jason. And if there's other moderators on here that I've missed, I apologize. But our official moderators today were Honey Paw and Vanessa. Thank you so much, Honey Paw. Thank you so much, Vanessa. And thank you to everybody for joining us. I hope you can make it over to our premiere, which is in 4 minutes. And we'll see you then. Much, much love and many, many blessings.